All praise be to Allah, our Creator, Sustainer, and Cherisher. We bear witness there is no deity worthy of worship save Allah. And we bear witness that Muhammad is His servant, Allah's messenger, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We ask Allah to bestow His blessings and peace upon His beloved Prophet Muhammad, his household, wives, companions, and his followers till the day of judgment. My dear respected brothers and sisters, fear Allah. Allah warns you in the Quran by saying, O people, fear Allah and be God conscious and prepare for a day that is intense and severe, to a point that a woman would flee from her own children. And if she were to be pregnant, she would let go of her pregnancy. And people will be in a maze, as if they're intoxicated when they're not. But the truth, that is the punishment they're expecting from Allah, is severe. And then Allah tells you, all those who believe, fear Allah and be God conscious, and prepare for a day when no parent can benefit their children and no children can benefit their parents. Fear Allah, for the promise is Allah's truth. So do not be fooled by this world, by this dunya, and do not be fooled by the shaitan. My dear respected brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, throughout the Quran and throughout the life of His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, has manifested to us a principle, an attribute He wanted the believers to live their life by. In one ayah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا من يرتد منكم عن دينه فسوف يأتي الله بقوم يحبهم ويحبونه. Allah said, all those who believe, whoever turns away from this faith, then Allah will replace these people who have a certain attribute. And that attribute, Allah has made it linked to the Iman. And made it those who basically turn away from this attribute will be replaced by certain people who are described by this attribute. And this is what Allah said, يُحِبُّهُمْ, meaning Allah loves them and they love Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. So He identified this core attribute as the essence of Iman. For Allah said, if you abandon this attribute, then Allah is going to replace you by people who accomplish it, or who has truly attained it. And throughout the life of the Prophet ﷺ, his hadith, he echoed the same meaning. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, three attributes, if they are in a person, then this person has tasted the sweetness of Iman. One of these attributes was to love a person solely for the sake of Allah, and only for the sake of Allah. And again, the attribute of love comes alive in the life of the Muslims. And so on and so forth. The Prophet ﷺ has so many times emphasized that meaning. In our lifestyle, as Muslims, especially living a busy life in the West, it is important to establish that meaning. For again, it is the core element and the core attribute of faith. For if a person does not achieve that level of love, has not become a complete believer. It's only on the road to Iman. And when you give that love, as the Prophet ﷺ, to one another, then you have begun to taste the sweetness of Iman. And again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the former ayah has mentioned that truly if you do not achieve that love, then you will be replaced. So one of the important things that we have to keep in mind, that when you love another person, and when others love you, this emotion, this passion should not remain silent and should be expressed. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught us in the Quran, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam has taught us in his hadith how to express that love. And this is what we need to live. This is what we need to perfect. This is what we have to achieve A+ in order to be the right model that the Prophet ﷺ would like to see. Allah said, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَالْيَوْمَ الْآخِرَ وَذَكَرَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا. Indeed, there has been to you the right role model, the perfect role model for you in the character of the Prophet ﷺ. For those who believe in Allah, who are hopeful to be successful in the hereafter, and those who remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So how to express this love to others according to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ? If you look, the Prophet ﷺ, how he lived it, he manifested this love to his companions, to his family, his wives, his children, his grandchildren, his neighbors, to his enemies, before his friends. And it is very hard to demonstrate these aspects of love, or how the Prophet ﷺ expressed his love in a few minutes. But we're going to take a few samples so we can learn a model from the Prophet ﷺ. First and foremost, the Prophet ﷺ has taught us that if you love a person, let him know that you love him. And the Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا أَحَبَّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَخَاهُ فَلْيُخْبِرْ. When someone loves his brother, let him know that you love him for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he taught us that if a person was told that, then has to reply, أَحَبَّكَ الَّذِي أَحْبَبْتَنِي فِيهِ. May Allah, the one whom you love me for, love you as well. This simple feature, or this simple step, is sufficient to alleviate a lot of animosities amongst people. Because a lot of times people love each other, they might have problems, but truly in their heart they love that person. And when you express that love, and when you let the other person know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will infuse even more love in the hearts and bring them together in the bond of His love subhanahu wa ta'ala. This becomes more important when it becomes family members, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made family members responsible for each other. It is more important to express that love to the spouse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the ayah in Surah Al-Rum that between the spouses, وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. He has bonded you, and He has infused amongst you the mawadda, the passion, the affection, the love, and the mercy, and the rahmah. The two factors that are important to maintain, and not only maintain, to have a happy, successful life based on the principles that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has designed this world based on. And that passion, that affection, that love makes the life pleasurable. And that mercy makes you overcome all the difficulties and the obstacles, the issues, the fights, the arguments that can ensue in the marriage life. Overcome them based on mercy, and then enjoy the life based on that passion and love. And the Prophet ﷺ has so much expressed that in his life. it is not a reason to be embarrassed to express that to the spouse. The Prophet ﷺ was asked once, who is the most beloved person to you? He said, Aisha. He wasn't shy about it. Then he was asked, how old among men? He said, her father, Abu Bakr, the most beloved companion to the Prophet ﷺ. Often, in a busy lifestyle, the husband is working and the woman is working or busy raising her kids. People forget that these simple expressions and these simple emotions can transform the life to a much happier, pleasurable life, and can affect the children, as a matter of fact. For if the children realize that they are growing up, they're being raised in a stable environment that's filled with affection and passion, they have a stable personality, and they have better characters, and they become more loving to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because it's a stable person who loves Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more. One of the other steps or practical methods that the Prophet ﷺ has also taught us to do is helping one another. And these are very simple steps. They're taken for granted, brothers and sisters, but they're often neglected and overlooked. Everyone knows and invokes and cites the hadith in which Aisha radiallahu anha described the Prophet ﷺ when he was at home, كان في خدمة أهله أو كان في مهنة أهله صلى الله عليه وسلم, that he was at the disposal, he was at the service of his household, meaning his wives. But if you analyze this hadith, what would the Prophet ﷺ do in his house? And why would he do it? The Prophet, again, in that same hadith was described sallallahu alayhi wasallam that he would sew his shoes, كَانَ يَخْصِفُ نَعْلَهُ, and he would sweep the house. But really, did it really require the Prophet ﷺ to do that? The answer is no. Because everyone was happy. As a matter of fact, the companions, the ones would compete who would serve the Prophet ﷺ. But the Prophet was making a point, and it was his nature, his loving nature, his caring nature. He wasn't just doing it to help. The entire room in which the Prophet ﷺ lived in with Aisha radiallahu anha was 6 by 10. It's just a corner of this masjid. So how much work would it take to clean? And how much work would it take to tidy up? And it was described that the Prophet ﷺ would have the moon, the crescent, and a second crescent, and a third one, meaning an entire 2 months, and there was no fire lit up in his household, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, meaning nothing being cooked. All what he's feeding on was water and dates. So there wasn't dishes to wash, there wasn't much to do, there wasn't fire to light. What he was doing it for, and this is an important part of expressing love, is showing the appreciation. That you as a woman, as a spouse, you're being recognized and acknowledged for what you need, and you need to be helped. Your work is not trivial. And this is what the Prophet ﷺ is saying, that even the Prophet is doing it to show that the woman is making an enormous effort and doing a tremendous job, that she deserves to be helped even by the Prophet ﷺ. It wasn't about the work itself. It's showing the appreciation, showing the recognition, and showing how important the role the woman is taking, whether it's inside the house or outside. And more important is to showing the humility, that the spouse is no less, the woman is no less than the husband, the woman is no less than the man. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ has called. Their work in their household is equivalent to the jihad fi sabilillah. And he even sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, like when the woman takes the time even to rearrange her house, to tidy it up, by moving the furniture to give it a newer look, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would give her a house in the Jannah. This is how serious Islam has considered the work of the woman, and this is how serious the Prophet ﷺ has taken it, that he himself would take part in that work. It is very important to show the help, to show the support, to appreciate what the wife is doing, and vice versa. By doing something very little. Often the woman can do the work. Women are very hardworking by nature. But all what they require, an element of recognition, and an element of respect and appreciation, and that again would transform the marriage life and make it much happier and more pleasurable for the people, and more importantly, more stable for the children to grow up in this household full of affection and full of passion. The third step that the Prophet ﷺ has taught us in order to express love and make that love flourish and not deteriorate and fade away is avoiding criticism. This is a very hard attribute because a lot of people, all what they do, they're focused on what's negative. They see the mistakes of each other and they overlook the big picture, which is usually is positive. They magnify each other's mistakes and flaws, and they forget what's positive. They always look at the empty half of the glass of water. And the Prophet ﷺ taught us the exact opposite. This is what the Prophet was described by Anas radiallahu anhu. He said he served the Prophet ﷺ an entire 8 years. 8 years. And the Prophet ﷺ has never criticized him. Never told him about something he didn't, why did you do it? And about something he didn't do, what, or vice versa. We before spoke about the story in which Anas was assigned a task by the Prophet ﷺ, and when he disappeared for a long time and the Prophet was worried and came out looking for him, he found him playing with children. And what does he do? He smiles and laughs at him. He didn't even ask him, why didn't you do it? He wiped in his hair and he reassured him that it was okay. It is a destruction to love and passion. It is a destruction to the bond of brotherhood. It is a destruction to the bond of marriage. And it is a destabilizing factor to the entire household if one only focuses on what's negative. If one only highlights the flaws and the defects in other people's character. It is fatal and it is a lethal error to that love and to that bond amongst people. And that is very important to realize that this is not a Muslim character. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that al-mu'min, he described the believer, is not someone who keeps cussing, humiliating, insulting, rude, vulgar, loud. These are not characters, attributes that belong to Islam. And a Muslim person does not have a choice but to have tawbah from these characters. To take these attributes off just like you take a dirty dress. You do not belong to that and they don't belong to you. And then in a different hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah is very displeased by al-Jurudhuri al-Jawwad al-Mutakabbir. And he has very tough words, even in Arabic, these words sound very tough. Mentioning that Allah would be displeased with a person who's tough, rough, and always arrogant, condescending, and rude with people. These things do not belong to a Muslim. And you have to make, tawbah is not just making tawbah and saying astaghfirullah because someone looked at an image that he's not allowed to, or just say the word. It's these attributes that you have to make tawbah from. And replace them by love that should be outpouring to be manifested by others. And avoiding what could destroy that love. And part of it are these characters. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who listen to the advice and follow the rest of it. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فيا فوز المستغفرين. The Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام has also taught us one important thing. He said, قال والله لن تدخلوا الجنة حتى تؤمنوا ولن تؤمنوا حتى تحابوا. By Allah, you won't be admitted to paradise till you become true believers. And you won't become true believers till you love one another, each other. Should I teach you something that if you do, Allah will spread the love amongst each other? That is to spread the salam. As simple as saying assalamu alaikum with a smile on your face, because that's a charity, that's a good deed that the Prophet ﷺ said, do not belittle even smiling in the face of your brother. That is a reason, and when you do it with that intention. May Allah spread the love amongst each other of us. And may Allah infuse our hearts with His love subhanahu wa ta'ala. Same thing when you go to household, with passion, with a loving tone, greet your children, greet your wife, one another. The Prophet ﷺ said, if a person goes to his house and does not say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem and Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim when he enters, then the shaitan is guaranteed the stay overnight. Free lodging for the shaitan. So the Prophet taught you, when you go to your house, you enter with your right hand, with your right foot, saying A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. That would drive the shaitan away. So that's protecting your household. And then when you say Assalamu alaikum, then the shaitan is dismissed also and has no supper. If you don't do that, the shaitan would have their supper with you. Even if you don't find anyone at the house, say Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillah salihin. This is a greeting from Allah. This is what Allah has told you. Another practical method that the Prophet ﷺ has said, تَهَادُوا تَحَابُوا وَتَصَافَحُوا يَذْهَبُ الْغِلُّ عَنْكُمْ. Said, give a present to one another, each other. And when you shake your hands, that malice dissipates from your hearts. And this is often, whether it's the spouses or the friends or the students to their imam, to their teacher, they forget these things. Give even a small present, and that thought behind it would actually expand that love. And would strengthen and enhance the bond between one another. Whether it's the wife or the husband or for the children. As simple as it is. And it doesn't have to be big. For the Prophet ﷺ was described that he does not belong, and Allah did not make exaggeration and being extreme in things one of his attributes. The Prophet was the most simple person on earth, and this is the way it should be. And the last tip for the day that the Prophet ﷺ would also, whether it is children, his companions, or the children of the companions, he would often wipe on their hair, on their faces, and make dua for him. The companions said, كَانَ يُمَاسِحُنَا وَيَدْعُو لَنَا. He would just wipe on our faces and make dua for us. You do that for the wife, for the children, for your beloved ones. And that makes a huge difference. Physical contact actually has been proven to be one of those elements that would stimulate the tranquility areas in your body. And this is a very simple sunnah. When you do it with your love to the Prophet ﷺ, following his model, it makes a huge difference.